Are you curious about the role of the European Union in global geopolitics? The EU has been a major player in the world geopolitical scene ever since it was established, and its influence is still growing. In today's video, we'll explore the various ways in which the EU is impacting global geopolitics in current times. Get ready to dive into the fascinating world of EU geopolitics. Hello, and welcome to Prime Time TV. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to receive more amazing content. Now, let's get started with the video. Let's start by understanding what the European Union is about. It is an intergovernmental organization established in 1992 and consists of 27 member countries, which are located primarily in Europe. Its primary goal is to promote peace, prosperity, and stability within its member states and to promote cooperation among the nations. The organization is also responsible for a number of policies and regulations, such as the free movement of people and goods within its borders, the establishment of common standards for goods and services, and the coordination of economic and foreign policies. The EU also has its own currency, the euro, which all member countries use. Now that you understand the European Union, better let us explore its impact on global political matters. EU's power and rules in international politics. In the current debate about the EU, the best way to understand what geopolitics means is in terms of the difference between rules and power in international politics. The EU was meant to replace power with rules, first among the countries that were part of the European project, and then more widely as it exported its model and civilized or domesticated international politics. This is an often overlooked part of the idea of civilian power, which has never been about non-military means, but also civilizing ends. This difference can also be seen as a difference between liberal and realist views of international politics. So, a geopolitical Europe, in this sense, is one that is less liberal and more realistic. For a long time, the EU didn't try to become a great power, which pro-Europeans thought was an outdated concept. Instead, it would use the fact that it wasn't a big power to its advantage. This is exactly what Duchin, and later, the British political scientist Ian Manners argued. They thought of the EU as a normative power that was well suited to change international politics. However, in recent decades, pro-Europeans have increasingly come to believe that, rather than transforming international politics, the EU must transform itself to adapt to it. Experts have repeatedly stated that the EU must learn to speak the language of power. But what they really mean is that it needs to learn to speak a more traditional or realist language of power, rather than the alternative language of power that the EU was long thought to speak. What are the various reasons for the EU's difficulties? The EU is having trouble for many structural reasons. For example, if the EU had taken a geopolitical approach to Brexit, it would have seen that the United Kingdom was an important security provider for Europe, which it needed as both threats to it and uncertainty about the US security guarantee grew. It would have made concessions to the UK, even if doing so would have hurt the integrity of the single market. But instead, the EU went with its usual way of following rules. In a similar way, when Russia invaded Ukraine, the EU instinctively turned to the idea of accession, which is how it has always dealt with its neighbors. However, for strategic reasons, the EU couldn't offer Ukraine a fast track to EU membership, because doing so would hurt the depoliticized application of norms. Also, pro-Europeans don't want to believe that being more realistic in international relations means being less liberal. Pro-Europeans, for example, want the EU to become more geopolitical, but they also say that it shouldn't stop focusing on norms. To put it another way, they want it both ways. This may be one of the reasons supporters of a geopolitical Europe like the term. Its ambiguity, particularly the lack of clarity about what it opposes, allows them to avoid confronting difficult choices. The real question the EU needs to answer is, if it is to become more geopolitical, as in adapting to a world of power politics, where does that lead its commitment to replace power with rules? All in all, the European Union clearly plays an important role in global geopolitics. With its combined economic, political, and social power, The EU has the potential to shape international relations in positive and meaningful ways. We can only hope that the EU's influence continues to grow in the years to come. We'd love to hear your opinion about the video in the comments section. Moreover, if you liked the video, then please like it and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.